really matter if it's a newspaper or not, as long as you're delivering news. And you know, one of the things we've done here is, and this took some doing, is to break down the concept that we are making a newspaper, and instead change that to we're making news, and that's a fundamental change to our DNA.
It's a bit of a controversial role in the sense that when you have a newspaper, it's really clear what the newspaper is and what you're delivering. When you have an online website, it's more of, my idea is more of creating an experience.
We're changing everything from job descriptions and expectations to deadlines to production methods to new skills and training being necessary. And so, but ultimately, that's been really a positive thing, because for a while here, and I'm sure everywhere, there's a lot of hand-wringing because they were seeing newspapers, you know, losing market share, losing readership, losing advertising, and that was worrisome. But now I think most people feel like we're back in the game.
I look at it almost like a TV station, you know, where CBS has 60 Minutes, but they also have soap operas. But does that diminish from what the quality of their news or the reputation of their news? And I think that's been really controversial even in our newsroom.
So what I found is that the rebound has been very interesting this year. We went from the bottom to, you know, a remarkable increase, okay, in terms of what was going on. It had nothing to do with systemic change in the business. It was a stinking recession. It happens.
Journalists, as we always have from Gutenberg's day, need to keep up with the technology. And some of us are very good at it, and some of us are not as good at it. I don't tweet. I probably should.
The internet has had a big effect on, and it's not so much reading the paper online. You know, that's one of the things, but it's just the battle of time. You know, a person only has so much time in a day to devote to reading.
This generation, your generation, can pick your songs. You can pick your what news, you know, whatever news feed you want. You can pick. Everybody is their own program manager.
You've got to evaluate what the scenario, what the situation is now, see who's on the cutting edge, and pick which direction you're going in, and do it now.
I mean, there's two reasons we do everything. There's traffic and there's revenue, and that's why and from the business side, from the news side, it's to create an experience.
So you see some of these Mondays and Tuesdays, they're wafer thin. We're giving them a fraction of what we used to give them at probably double the cost.
Well, the very first thing I learned at the University of Maryland when I was your age, okay, I think it was Dr. Summers. He came out of radio and told us that the first thing you have to recognize is you're in a business. Okay, so I learned that 30 years ago. So you have to make a buck. This is just nothing free. You know?
So as revenue goes down, so do bodies and staffing and newsprint cuts.
I think online, in terms of ownership, at least claiming a readership there and following is recognizing that people want local news. So the key is to give them local news repetitively during the day and throughout the whole cycle.
It's almost taboo to pay for something online. You know, geez, why am I paying when everything's free? I can find it somewhere else. And now newspapers are trying to shift that a little bit, to put a modest fee on there to say, you know what, you can get a lot of stuff for free, but the stuff we're going to give you is local and it's valuable to you, and it's going to, you know, and we're going to put a small price. We're not going to charge you a fortune, but we've got to charge you something, you know, to have access to all that.